8 breakfast sausages you should look closer at. And 3 honest ones. Question the label. Decode your plate. Here's something worth a closer look before your next weekend breakfast. You grab a pack of breakfast sausage, picturing seasoned ground pork, the simple stuff, meat and spices. But a lot of what's sold as breakfast sausage has been stretched, sweetened, and bound together with a list of ingredients that has very little to do with a farmhouse breakfast. At Culinary Cipher, we believe the truth is usually hiding in plain sight. Every ingredient tells a story, every label is a clue, and the package often tells you exactly what you're buying, if you know where to look. So before you drop those links or patties in the pan again, let's look closer at what's actually in them. Because the gap between real seasoned meat and an engineered meat product is wider than the packaging suggests. The whole thing comes down to what got mixed in with the meat. A real, honest sausage is ground pork or turkey, salt, and spices. That's the whole idea. But many breakfast sausages add water to boost the weight, sugar or corn syrup for flavor, binders and fillers to hold it together, and phosphates and flavorings to keep it juicy and tasty on the cheap. None of that is a farmhouse recipe. Once you learn to read the first few ingredients, you'll spot the difference in seconds. Let's look closer at the 8 to watch, and then the 3 actually worth cooking. Number 1, the sausages with added water. It sounds strange to add water to sausage, but many products list it high in the ingredients, because water plus binders adds weight cheaply, and you pay meat prices for it. That's part of why some sausages shrink so dramatically and sputter so much in the pan. They're releasing water that was added at the plant. Look closer at where water falls in the list, because a sausage that's watered down is one you're overpaying for by weight. Number 2, the corn syrup and dextrose. That subtly sweet, savory flavor in a lot of breakfast sausage often comes from added sugars like corn syrup, dextrose, or plain sugar mixed right into the meat. A little sweetness in sausage is traditional, but many products lean on it, and it's not what most people picture when they think just pork and spices. Look closer for the sugars, because they're a quiet, standard part of many meat products that market themselves as simple. Number 3, the maple sausage with no maple. Maple breakfast sausage sounds cozy and real, but check the ingredients and you'll very often find natural flavor or maple flavoring rather than actual maple syrup. The maple on the front is describing a taste built in a flavor lab, not a real ingredient poured in. Look closer whenever a meat is named after a sweetener, because the sweet name is usually flavoring and the real thing is rarely in the pack. Number 4, the binders and fillers. To hold a stretched, watered sausage together, manufacturers often add binders and fillers, things like corn syrup solids, dried broth, starches, or soy protein. They bulk out the product and improve texture cheaply, which is fine to eat, but means less of what you're buying is actual meat. Look closer at how many non-meat ingredients are helping hold the sausage together, because each one is quietly replacing a bit of pork. Number 5, the phosphates and flavor enhancers. Ingredients like sodium phosphate help meat hold water and stay juicy, while flavor enhancers such as MSG or natural flavors boost taste. These are common and legal, and MSG in particular is not the villain the internet made it out to be. But they're signs of an engineered product built for cost and shelf life, not a plain sausage. Look closer and treat a long line of these as a clue to how processed the product really is. Number 6, the sodium level. Sausage is a salty food by nature, but many breakfast sausages carry a very high sodium load, using salt to make a cheap, stretched product taste bold and satisfying. A couple of small links can deliver a big chunk of a day's sodium. If you watch your salt for any reason, this is an easy place to overshoot. Look closer at the sodium line, because it's often one of the highest numbers on the panel. Number 7, the cured links with nitrites. Some breakfast sausages, especially certain smoked or cured styles, contain added nitrites or nitrates to preserve color and shelf life. Here's the honest picture. Health authorities classify processed meats as something to eat in moderation, and the research links regular high consumption of processed meat with certain risks, but an occasional breakfast sausage is not a crisis. Look closer so you know whether you're buying a fresh sausage or a cured one, and simply keep the cured, processed styles as an occasional thing rather than a daily habit. Number 8, the mechanically separated and lowest cost meats. On some very cheap sausages and patties, you'll see terms like mechanically separated chicken, or pork trimmings in the ingredients. That's a lower-cost meat slurry used to keep prices rock bottom. It's legal and safe, but it's a long way from the ground cut most people imagine. Look closer at how the meat itself is described, because the words tell you a lot about the quality you're actually getting. Now let's be fair, because the goal is to read labels, not to swear off sausage. A good sausage is a genuine pleasure, and even a processed one now and then is completely fine. A little sugar and salt in sausage is traditional, and ingredients like phosphates or MSG aren't the poison scare stories make them out to be. The real point is knowing the difference between a simple seasoned meat and a stretched, sweetened, water-added product sold at the same price. Once you can tell them apart, you can choose the good stuff when it matters and treat the cheap, cured styles as the occasional indulgence they should be. It's also worth understanding why the honest ones cost a bit more, because the price is actually telling you something. A sausage that's mostly real pork with a short spice list can't be watered down and bulked out with cheap fillers, so it costs closer to what good meat costs. The very cheap packs are cheap partly because water, binders, and lower-grade trimmings are standing in for some of the meat. So a slightly higher price on a short-ingredient sausage often isn't a premium, it's just what actual meat costs without the padding. That reframes the bargain packs quite a bit. One more thing worth a closer look is the difference between fresh sausage and the fully cooked, brown and served kind. The pre-cooked links and patties are built for maximum convenience, heat and eat in a minute. But that convenience usually comes with more processing. They're often the ones carrying the most added water, binders, and preservatives, so they survive being cooked, packaged, and reheated while still tasting juicy. Fresh, raw sausage that you cook yourself tends to have a shorter, cleaner label because it doesn't need to survive that extra round of processing. So if you're choosing between two similar packs, the raw one you cook from scratch is often the more honest product, even though it asks a few more minutes of you in the morning. That small trade of convenience for a shorter ingredient list is usually worth it. So here are 3 honest ones worth reaching for. First, sausage with a short, meat-first ingredient list. Look for a product that starts with pork or turkey and is followed mainly by salt and recognizable spices, sage, pepper, thyme, with little or no added water, sugar, or filler. When the label reads like a seasoning recipe on top of real meat, you found an honest sausage. The shorter the list and the fewer the mystery ingredients, the closer you are to the real thing. Second, buy plain ground pork or turkey and season it yourself. This is the cleanest option of all. Grab good ground meat, then mix in your own salt, sage, pepper, a pinch of thyme, and maybe a touch of real maple syrup if you like it sweet, and form your own patties. You get real breakfast sausage with an ingredient list you wrote, no added water, no fillers, no mystery flavorings, for often less money than the packaged kind. Third, whole-cut breakfast proteins instead of processed sausage. Sometimes the honest move is to step around the sausage question entirely. A couple of eggs, some sliced ham off a real cut, or thick-cut bacon with a short label all give you a satisfying savory breakfast built on whole food rather than an engineered blend. When you want the plate without the processing, a whole cut of meat is the straightforward answer. Here's the quick rule to carry into the store. The front of the pack will say whatever sells, farmhouse, maple, all natural, premium. Ignore it and flip it over. The first ingredient should be the meat, and the list after it should be short and mostly spices. The moment you see water high up, corn syrup or dextrose, a row of binders and phosphates, or maple, that turns out to be flavoring, you know exactly what you're really holding. It isn't dangerous and nobody's saying give up sausage. The point is simpler than that. You deserve to know whether you're buying seasoned meat or a stretched, sweetened meat product wearing a farmhouse label. You don't need to overhaul breakfast tomorrow. Just flip the pack next time you're standing at that cooler. Meat first, a short spice list, and little or no added water or sweeteners. That's the whole check. So go read the first 3 ingredients on the sausage in your fridge right now, and tell me in the comments whether it's really just meat and spices, or whether water and corn syrup snuck in. I genuinely want to know what you find, because that's what Culinary Cipher is all about. Not telling you what you have to eat, but giving you the tools to understand exactly what you're buying. Marketing can create an image, but ingredients reveal the reality. When you learn to read labels instead of advertisements, you can choose the foods that fit your goals, your family's needs, and your budget with confidence. Question the label. Decode your plate. Because every ingredient is a clue, every label tells a story, and the smartest food choices begin with knowing what's really on your plate. We'll see you in the next investigation.